And Mark, let's close out our mock draft. Not the podcast. We still got to make our picks after this, but let's close out our mock draft. We are looking at 22 through 32. The one thing I will say, beginning of last segment, I forgot to, these are 11 picks at the end. Totally thought they were 10. Forgot that we do 11, and that's a 32.
We'll have a fourth segment with 2 teams.
Yeah, we'll have a segment with 4 teams. But let's go through the 22 through 32. We'll start with you. Start with my Minnesota Vikings. Who we taking?
Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, it's pretty obvious what they need. They need help on the offensive line. So we're going to go with Chris Lindstrom, the guard out of Boston College. Finally, moving on to the Texans, they're going to go with another offensive lineman, David Edwards out of Wisconsin. Now, the Redskins here, I'm going to have them go with A.J. Brown, the wide receiver out of Mississippi. Raiders, via the Bears, are going to go with Amani, not even going to try on the last name, but it starts with O, cornerback out of Penn State. The Panthers...
I'm going to say Oruwari. That's what I'm going to say.
Oruwari. Maybe. Could be. Who knows?
We'll learn it.
And that's the thing where I feel like it's like, if you're going to be somebody who, like, for sure is going to be like, all right, you're a top draft pick, I'm going to learn your name then. But you got to prove that to me first.
I'd laugh if we never said his name in any other mock draft.
Right? Panthers are going to go with Raekwon Davis out of Alabama, the defensive lineman. Patriots going with Dexter Lawrence, another defensive lineman out of Clemson. Chargers with Montez Sweat. I really wish it was Sweet. Mississippi State. Then we got the Steelers going with, this is one I don't know as well. Ja'Kai.
I'm going to say Ja'Kai Polite.
I really want it to be Jackie. Jackie Polite, the linebacker out of Florida. Packers. JP, good old JP. Packers via the Saints, going to go with Marquise Brown, wide receiver, Oklahoma.
You got to say his name right. He's got a nickname.
Hollywood.
In there. Marquise Hollywood Brown.
And then we got the Rams going with Noah. I just want to say it so badly because there's no way that this guy did not get made fun of as a kid for his last name being so close to Fart. There's no way that people weren't calling him Noah Fart, the tight end out of Iowa. Then we got the Chiefs. That's our childish moment for the day with Draymond Jones, another defensive tackle, Ohio State.
Oh, man. I was waiting for you just to say it, Noah Fart, but Noah Fant. Tight end out of Iowa.
There's no way that he didn't get made fun of as a kid for his name being too close to Fart.
And only you think about these things, too. Like, this is something that pops into the head of Mark Weber while he's going through a mock draft.
This kid's going to totally get made fun of.
I mean, usually it's, hey, I got to name my kid. What kind of a name? Let's see, Icky Ricky. Like, did you have any where they made fun of, like, rhyming your name with anything?
No, not really.
Snarky Marky?
No, nothing like that. A couple girls in high school called me Marker, which I think was maybe like a it's supposed to be
all right, I'm a marker.
Yeah, like maybe that was supposed to be kind of an insult or something like that, and I didn't see it that way.
The worst thing that a girl ever called me, and this is story time on the onside kick before I get into my picks, is so I was in band in junior high, and there was these two very attractive. I was in 8th grade. They were 8th grade. Very attractive. The one blonde I kind of had a crush on as soon as I saw her. And they were from a different school. I was from my school. They didn't want to learn my name, so they just called me Roundhead.
Nice.
Because I have a very round head, I guess.
Actually, speaking of names, though, and things like this, we had gone to something where it was our school and another school one time. And that was around that same time that the marker thing came up. So I decided to just say my name was Marker because it was a name tag. So I just kept introducing people and they're like, your name's Marker? And I'm like, yeah, like that's a nickname. No, that's actually my name.
No, that's my name.
And it was fun.
Marker Weber.
For that day. It sounds awful, right? But the Marker Weber.
Well, let's get into mine. Vikings at number 22. They're going to go offensive line, just like Mark had him, but I'm going to go David Edwards, the offensive tackle out of Wisconsin. Then the Texans. This is a weird one for me. They'll probably go defense, but right now I'm going to put them with Bryce Love, running back out of Stanford. I know they have Lamar Miller, but I'm still going to say
why not?
Bryce Love out of Stanford. Then the Redskins, they're going to go with some pass rush. They're going to take Zach Allen, the defensive end out of Boston College. I believe no relation to either Josh Allen in the NFL or in this mock draft. Then the Raiders, they went wide receiver, and then they went with the pass rush, they're going to go running back. They're going to take the bell cow, the guy that could be the next Mark Ingram-like player in the NFL from Alabama in Damian Harris. Then the Panthers are going to go with Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle out of Mississippi State. The Patriots go with MT3, Marvell Tell III, safety out of USC. Chargers going to go with Noah Fant, the tight end out of Iowa. Then the Steelers are going to go with Brian Burns, the edge rusher out of Florida State. Then the Packers going A.J. Brown, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. And Mark, I did it again. I had Noah Fant on here twice. So I am just going to say, you know what, the Rams, they're going to go with, I'll pick a guy. They'll go with Lindstrom. Chris Lindstrom out of Boston College. They'll take an offensive tackle, even though they could probably go with defense, but didn't realize I've had double guys. So this is us getting into the mock draft early. And then John Abram, the safety out of Mississippi State. He will round everything up going to the Chiefs. Let's start with, I'll let you pick. Out of the two teams we're going to focus on in this segment, Steelers or Patriots? Who you want to look at first?
I like to go in order. Let's go with the Patriots.
All right. With the Patriots, what do you think their plan of attack will be this draft season? Will Brady retire? Probably not. I'm just throwing it out there. And do you think that defense is really going to be the thing that they focus in on and say, hey, we got to shore this up to make sure that we make it stronger and make life easy on our offense?
Yeah, I think they have to. I mean, they've gone at offense so many times, and they lose Matt Patricia, who we were told was a defensive genius. And this defense has not been very great this year. I mean, they've let teams do things to them that they shouldn't have been allowed to do. They've offensively, though, struggled multiple times as well. So there's quite a few things that I think that the Patriots could go for and they could try and fix with this team. But when I look at the Patriots, I'm seeing something where they need to be able to stop opposing passing games. And they could go for defensive backs to try and get some help with that. They had some good defensive backs, and I don't really understand what happened since then. But they could go for the defensive lineman, which is what I have them doing with Dexter Lawrence, partially because I think he's a really good player and he was still there. I don't think they could pass up on that level of talent, but it's a guy who can help them out quite a bit by being able to get to opposing quarterbacks a little bit faster.
And the thing, I'm saying this for our YouTube audience, the internet here has just died on us and went kaputs. So that's why you may see us with our phones out, because we can't use basically our laptops are paperweights right now. And the question that I'm going to throw out there, and maybe this is one that pisses people off, but I don't care. So both of us have Noah Fant going after the Patriot pick. Is there any chance that the Patriots look and go, hey, they already tried to trade Rob Gronkowski to the Lions in the offseason. He said, no, I don't want to go. I'm playing with Tom Brady. Do they look at it and go, hey, we went running back last year in the first round, Sony Michel. Maybe we don't have to go defense here. At 27, what's the chance that they look at it and go, hey, we've already tried to get rid of Gronk. Gronk's not really in our long season plans, and they take Noah Fant at 27.
They could, and I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter if they want Gronk long term, if they're ready to move on for him or not. The Patriots are a team where if they see a talented player,
they'll take him.
They'll take him. They don't care. BPA is the name of the game for the Patriots. There's no doubt about that. They will go and get him if they want him, if they think he's going to be a good addition. My kind of thing that I look at is really with, some games being put aside of when the Patriots offense really has been stopped. What is that really going to do for you to get one more offensive weapon? You really need some defense to be able to help your team out. You look at this team and it's like, yeah, sure, you came back from 28-3 because of your offense. Sure, that's great. But the times where the times where the Patriots have lost Super Bowls, why did they lose? Because the defense lets them down.
True.
Defense has let them down so many times.
Except for the one against the Seahawks where, oh, wait, Malcolm Brown didn't play in last year's Super Bowl, not on the team this year.
Yeah, exactly. When you're losing, it's because your defense is letting you down. That is one of those times where that defense really was shining. And they came up with a big play for Malcolm Butler to go ahead and get that interception on the goal line. When at the same time, honestly, if the Seahawks just ran up the middle, they were winning that Super Bowl. They were going to win that Super Bowl if they just ran up the middle. Some Patriots fans commented very mad.
All year to that point, they would have been Super Bowl champs.
Yeah. Didn't even have to be Marshawn Lynch. It was Russell Wilson. But anyways, defenses let them down, and defense has saved them multiple times. So you easily can see the Patriots should invest in defense.
Well, and this is the thing that I look at. When I look at their defense, so out of the two guys, I'm just going to say the positions, because right now the thing, and I said this at the beginning, but I'm going to say it here at the end too. The thing about this first mock draft is I always say the names aren't very important right now, because it's kind of like when you were in school or when you were in high school or college and you're writing an essay. This is your first draft. You're just putting words on a paper, and then you go at it like our second one. Okay, it gets more refined, until we get all the way to our sixth mock draft where it's pretty much set in stone.
I mean, plus, these players still have games to play.
We don't know. There might be someone that's on here that might say, hey, I'm staying in school.
Yep.
And then that takes them off the board. But, like, the two positions that we're looking at, you have them going with defensive tackle, which right now their starters is they've got Malcolm Brown, who's a guy that is a four-year player for them out of Texas. And then right now they also have Lawrence Guy playing in the starting lineup right now, who he is an 8-year pro out of Arizona State. The thing that both of us looked at is you're looking at they've got some not as much youth in that defensive tackle category. For me, the reason why I had them go safety, it's not really because I think Marvell, not that I think that Captain Marvell, that's what I'm going to call him, Captain Marvel, is better than Noah Fant, is better than A.J. Brown, is even better than Brian Burns, although that last one I probably think is true. I look at the safeties for the Patriots. Patrick Chung, Devin McCourty. Those are some old guys. 10-year, 9-year pro, respectively. And I look at that and go, that is the part of this defense that it's like, get some youth on that defense. Because those safeties, when you get to 9, 10-year pros, like, you're old. Like, we were talking about Eli earlier in the podcast, 15-year pro. Like, they're getting into their end of their careers almost, their last few years. And I know that quarterback is different than cornerback for shelf life, but I look at it and I'm like, man, those safeties are just old. And that's why for me, defense will probably be it, because they've got some spots where they're old on the defense, and for me it was safety. I don't know if that was exactly the same thing you were thinking of why you went defensive tackle.
Well, I think they could use some youth, but I also think they should just use
a body.
Yeah, a body, an upgrade, something new, something different, something to keep other players fresh. I mean, you've got a guy in his 4th year who maybe he's not going to last that much longer. A guy in his 8th year who's maybe not going to be around too much longer either. You have people that you need to get something fresh, something new in there. And defensive tackles can really change a defense.
Second team we're going to look at, the Steelers. The first thing I want to look at has nothing to do with the mock draft, but we're going to talk about it anyways. Le'Veon Bell not showing up, will not be a member of the Steelers this year. What are your thoughts to that?
I'm proud of him. He said he wasn't going to play, and he meant it. He did not play without a long-term deal. He stuck to his words. I like that.
Do you think a long-term deal gets done this offseason?
With the Steelers, no.
Do you think he gets franchised again? Because I think it does.
I think the Steelers are just going to say, fine.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because
he's not coming back. What's the point of franchising him?
Because here's the thing. I looked at, because Sean, Dave, and I, when we went out Saturday for Dave's birthday, we're looking at it. The only free agent that they have that's worth franchising is Le'Veon.
You don't have to franchise anybody.
So why not? You don't have to, but why not be like, hey, we're going to franchise you again. If you want to go somewhere, sign your franchise tender and we'll trade you.
I just think it's why bother? If he has told you before that he's not going to come and play for you, you know he's not going to play. You tried to trade him before. Nobody called.
Well, no one called because he didn't sign the franchise tender.
It doesn't matter. They could have gotten him to sign it if there was a deal in play. They were actively trying to get somebody to trade for him. Nobody was interested. And that doesn't mean that nobody would be interested next year. But for me right now, why even make it a topic of conversation, a distraction? Why bother? You know the end result is he's not going to play for your team. Just let him walk.
I'll ask you this then. This will transfer into, of course, they're not going to go running back. They could, there are running backs that could go in this part of the first round, but they're not. They've got James Conner. He's come onto the scene. He's done great. What was your thought process when you got to the Steelers in this mock draft? Why did you go offensive? Why did you go outside linebacker?
I mean, part of it's going to be that it's something they need. I mean, you look back to Shazier and the fact that he's never going to play football again, and they're not going to be able to replace just the pure talent level that he had easily. But you got to try and do something. And this defense, we say it every now and then that the defense is not quite what we remember from a Steelers defense. But it's still a very good defense, and it's still a defense that can improve. And I think this is a great way to do it. This would be a great player. He's made quite a name for himself this year. And I think that this would be a good position to kind of upgrade on.
The thing that to me is interesting, I think the Steelers go defense. But the question is where? Because last year they surprised everyone and went with Terrell Edmonds, the safety, where everyone was looking like, what?
Yeah.
He's not a first-round prospect. What are you doing? And, I have them going with an edge as well, mainly just to add a body there. But, I mean, I look at, you look at the outside linebackers that they already have. They got T.J. Watt, Baby Watt out there.
Yeah.
And then they also have if you have been an onside kick listener for a while, you know why this name is funny to say. They also got a Bud Dupree.
Oh, yeah, Bud Dupree. Alvin Bud Dupree.
When we did the reason why it's funny if you're new is we did the, what was that? That's when we had a bunch of different writers on.
Yeah.
And the one guy we had for the Giants took Bud Dupree. And it was just pretty funny with that whole segment for that. But I mean, this is a team where it's they don't have any free agents to me that are big ones that are going to walk away. They've locked down Antonio Brown. Big Ben will probably be there still. Like I said, they've got James Conner locked down, Juju locked down, where I look at it and I go, they're pretty locked up on offense. Let's just add a body on defense, add something on defense that is going to help us win some games down the road. But the last thing I want to ask you, and we saved it all the way to the end, the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We mentioned some of them. We mentioned Justin Herbert. You had two go in Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. If you have to look into your crystal ball and we get to mock draft 6, what do you think will be the overall kind of perception of this year's quarterback class?
Well, I think the perception's already been set. It's already been set that it's not a good quarterback class.
Do you think that's going to change at all? Do you think there's someone either in the combine or in the last few games to where it's somebody, or as we look in the tape, it's going to be ooh, this guy
somebody's probably going to rise themselves up a little bit, raise themselves up a little bit, but I really don't think we're going to have somebody who out of nowhere quarterback comes out and just all of a sudden after the football season's great. I mean, really, when it comes to quarterbacks, we don't really get combine risers that much.
Unless it's a Josh Allen who, he was already there, and it's just his 70-yard bomb was ooh, okay. You're raising some
he was going to be he was a first-round pick anyway.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And so it doesn't necessarily matter. I can't imagine that we're going to have 0 quarterbacks go because there are some quarterback-needy teams. But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen because, once again, there's a lot of talent in this draft, and quarterback, maybe you can sit back. If you're a team like the Giants who say, we do have Eli Manning, Buccaneers, we do have Jameis Winston. Jaguars, we do have Blake Bortles, or whoever signs whoever for free agency is Tyrod Taylor and stuff like that. But it's totally possible that it can happen. Maybe we only get one. Maybe we don't get any, and it's a second round type of quarterback run then. But I don't know. It's challenging because the free agent quarterback market is not that good either. I mean, you do have some middle of the road type of guys like a Tyrod Taylor, like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. You have some level of talent there, but not anybody who's going to sell jerseys. Not anybody who's going to convince your fans that you are still trying to win. It's nothing like that. Nothing that's successful. The best option maybe would be Teddy Bridgewater or Sam Bradford.
Well, I mean, the thing with Teddy, too, which is interesting, is the reason why I don't think he'll hit the free agent market is why would the Saints trade for him just for him to hit the free agent market? So, like, that to me, I think he's going to be locked up as a New Orleans Saint.
It's possible.
And there's a reason why they traded for him. I look at this draft class, and everyone except, like, Justin Herbert, to me, could be the guy where it's like he panned out. Like, he is the guy where it's like, all right, he's not an amazing NFL quarterback, but he's a good NFL quarterback. He's got the size, he's got the arm, he's got the ability to run, extend a player, like I said. Like, I watched a couple of his film for our big board, and just watching him, the first thing I thought of was he's Cam Newton light. He is Cam Newton light. It's like watching almost someone that does the same things that Cam does, just doesn't have the athleticism that Cam Newton displays each and every week. And I feel like the rest of this draft class, it's just going to be like the E.J. Manuel draft. Like I believe that was the one also where we had Jake Locker. We had Colt McCoy in that one.
That was before E.J. Manuel.
Was that? Okay, then either that one or the E.J. Manuel, because the E.J. Manuel one didn't have great quarterbacks in it as well.
Yeah, and was Geno Smith, I think, was in the E.J. Manuel draft.
And he dropped.
Yeah.
He dropped like a rock.
He was supposed to be one of those first top 10 type of picks, and then nothing.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Is like Justin Herbert's the guy, and then everyone else is kind of like, unless they surprise us and kind of rise, I wouldn't take them in the first round. I would kind of sit back on quarterback. But it should be a fun draft season. Get the first mock draft out of the way, and this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think of the mock draft. Hit that comment section. Let us know what you think of the picks. What guys are you looking for to kind of rise on board, surprise people? Maybe someone who wasn't in our first round that you think, hey, as this goes on, we're going to start saying his name as we go forward. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section.